Isn't it hilarious that Mrs. Trump is bringing out a film documentary thing, and it sold one ticket only in London and no tickets anywhere else? No ticket in Boston on the opening night, and about 4 tickets elsewhere in England. But otherwise, View, the cinema company, refuses to show it. And apparently they spent like $75 million on it. Oh dear. Also, it's quite sad that Catherine O'Hara has passed away. She is iconic to me, and it's lovely that she was like an adoptive mother towards Macaulay Culkin, because he went through horrendous shit. He obviously has met the love of his life. But yeah, Catherine O'Hara she was iconic. She was iconic. For me, iconic because being a goth, growing up in the 90s and stuff, iconic woman to see. She might have played horrible, selfish bitches, but she seemed like a very nice woman. Also, Luigi is also not going to face the death penalty, so that's good. I mean, I still don't know what they're talking about. What do you mean he shot some CEO, Mediaid, Nobed? I don't know what you're talking about. False news, wink wink. Let's bash some money grabbing bitches. So it shocks me that people are just being shocked about Nicki Minaj, or what the fuck her cunt name is. I don't give a shit. That's not a surprise, I'm not a fan. But for years, I've known that she stood up for her brother who raped a child and is in prison for it. For years, blamed the child and has been trying to get her brother out of prison. And then her husband is also rumoured, or alleged, or what the fuck they like to say on the internet, that he also likes assaulting children. So that's been around for years that we've known that. And yet people are doing that annoying thing I hate, where because they like the person's music for some pissing reason, they then think, I'm so dumb that I separated the art from the artist and didn't realise that in real life, the reason why she's turned into a MAGA knobhead is to fill her fucking pockets, because no one thinks she's relevant anymore, because she wants that Erica Kirk money as well, and probably an Israel flat or beach thing that's really Palestine. I'm very shocked that she is Trump's #1 fan. This is why I hate marketing, I hate celebrities, and I hate people being blind all the time towards their celebrities. Do your fucking research, and just because you think, oh, it was years ago when they did something bad. It's like Lizzo. She sexually assaulted her fucking dancers only like 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and everyone seems to have fucking forgot it because they got money out of it and she didn't get properly charged and put to prison, so no one gives a shit. It fucking annoys me so much. Also, Erica Kirk has been... I don't like Candace Owens either. She's a fucking nut job. She's also very jealous because she's not making the money, like, in connections after licking the boots of all these right-wingers. Never liked her. It's weird that people stand up for her. It's weird. But she does leak some goodies now and again. Now, I don't follow this woman. I will never pay to allow her to get paid for things. No chance. She's dangerous. But because she acts like a pick-me, no one picks her. Bless her. Anyway, so this goodie she released was 11 days after Charlie Kirk got killed. Oh well, never mind. See you later. That Erica Kirk is laughing and giggling in a leaked phone call of how much fucking money she's made out of her dead husband. Now, we already know she didn't give a shit about Charlie anyway, for the chief actually lied and pretended she'd never had a relationship before Charlie Kirk. But she plastered her, at the time, boyfriend all over social media. And now, funnily enough, now Charlie is out of the way, he is a big part of turning USA. Erica Kirk, remember, is not allowed in Romania because children went missing, and it turned out it was a sex trafficking skit going on. So of course she knows Donald Trump. Her name might not be on the Epstein files, but of course she fucking knows. Once again, unfortunately, you get women in this world that act like men and beg down to men to fill their pockets like men, and yet have this rhetoric of pretending that feminists are dangerous. And yet she is the cliche feminist that people pretend are feminists. She's telling women to not have a job and to be a trad wife and to pump out kids as much as you can, don't get qualifications, even though she has all of this and she's making a multi-billion company, and she's using a dead man, to do it. And yet red pillars and all that don't even see that. It's weird. This is why actual feminists, don't support her or anything like that, because even though she's getting on top on her own, sort of, she's doing it in a horrible, deadly way, in a man way, a CEO man way, and that's not her bag. Also, what's funny is that apparently these Swifties, Taylor Swift fans, have come to the realisation that because now Taylor Swift is doing podcasts or some shit, I don't know, that they've realised that the songs that she's been singing about is an alter ego. Well done, well done. And in real life, she's actually giving off MAGA. I fucking can't remember something. She's giving off MAGA vibes now. Because when she talks to her husband, they're only just realising it. Of course, her songs aren't real. They're pop songs. Most pop songs that come from rich people have no feeling. It's like I was speaking to an artist from Limerick, and I said that I wholeheartedly support you because you can see passion and truth in your art, where there's a hell of a lot of people you can see they're just doing it for trends. And the difference between man and woman art is very different, because when a man is trying to talk about a sad woman or a depressive life or extreme happiness, they've been brought up to think of it very differently to a woman. And you can see that in art, where when you can basically point out who is a man or a woman artist without seeing the name, because you can definitely see more emotion in a woman's art, no matter what it is, compared to a man. And once again, because of marketing and because we've been told that women shit, men shit gets put out there more than a woman. Even though, wow, there's some hell of a talented women artists out there in all creativity communities, and they just don't get a look in. You sort of, unfortunately, you only hear about this when you look online and look at women's pages, and you think, Christ, I didn't still realise that was a woman that did that. But man takes the credit for it. And it is funny, again with Taylor Swift, that she's actually got quite basic songs, and it's because of marketing. Like, she comes from a very rich family, and it's just odd to me because there's no nostalgia. Like, you don't really hear of someone saying they've been a Swiftie since day dot and they're still a Swiftie. They just still might like the songs from ages ago, and that's it. Like, there's no nostalgia anymore when it comes to music, like modern music acts, because they just treat it like they are just pumping out money. And yeah, a lot of people don't know more than 4 songs of hers at all, because it's very basic shit. And I just find it funny that people are only just realising that her alter ego isn't her. Bless. You know, we've all been there where we got sucked into something that you felt is your favourite thing, and then it got shit all over. Like, the person ruined it for themselves for you and shit like that. But each their own, I suppose. But yeah, if you're a nasty bastard, I'm most likely not going to watch your shit or listen to your shit or whatever, because I don't separate the art from the artist. I think you should never do that, because at the end of the day, if you're a horrible person, you're still funding them. You're not funding the fantasy only, the alter ego only. You're generally funding their horrible lifestyles. So yeah. So this is quite shocking. Police probe explosive device thrown at Indigenous protest in Australia. So a man was charged with throwing an explosive device in a crowd at Invasion Day protest in Western Australia's Perth. Now, this story has only just come to me after a very tiny amount of creators going on about it. It's not on any main media, TV, radio, whatever station channel. It's not on anything here in the UK or Ireland. And it's kind of not a shocker that it wasn't spoken about at all, because obviously racism, and it's all about First Nation Australia, aka Aboriginal people or Indigenous people, compared to the Bondi Beach horrendous attack that people are still going on about, but nothing about what just happened a few days ago. It's shocking that we do not care when we pretend that we throw all these posters up saying anti-racist and we're all diverse and inclusive and all this shit. And yeah, nothing has been shown on anything in the UK or Ireland. Not heard anything. Only on a very select creators pages. Police may investigate an alleged, it wasn't an alleged, it was a bombing attempt during an Indigenous rights protest in Perth, Western Australia, as possible terrorist incident. The guy was white. That's why they don't talk about it. Following calls from Indigenous leaders and human rights groups for a more robust response from authorities, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, ABC, reported on Thursday that the incident was now being investigated by police as a potential terrorist act. Correct. 2 days after the 31-year-old man, who was white, was charged with throwing a homemade improvised explosive device at Invasion Day protest attended by thousands of people on Monday. That's how long it's taken for me to know that this has happened. 5 days. 5 days it's taken for me to know that any of that happened. It shows that certain companies have taken over media again and has squashed a lot. I've noticed I've started seeing repeat videos from people from years ago. And it's only until you go on their page you realise it was years ago. They're not showing up-to-date stuff that people are posting at all. Because I think, what the fuck are you talking about? I've seen this news. I know this already. Why are they not up to date? And it's because it is from like 2021. I'm seeing, and not from late last year or even this year. The device did not explode, so who cares? He tried to fucking explode it though, and there was no injuries, police said. See how much they don't give a shit. Police charged the man with throwing the device with consistent of nails and ball bearings in a large crowd during a protest on Australia's national holiday, Australia Day, which is referred to as Invasion Day since it commemorates the 1788 arrival of US-LA, the British fleet, in Sydney Harbour. A search of the suspect's home was conducted wherein a further alleged that a combination of chemicals and materials consistent with the manufacture of homemade explosives were found. Western Australia Police Force said in a statement the suspect was charged with attempt to cause harm with making or processing explosives under suspicious circumstances. The group also reports that police failed to address credibility threats received ahead of the rally should be fully and independently investigated. Yep, see, they can't even be asked to come out and fucking help these people when they've pre-warned them that this will probably happen at some point. Police alleged that the suspect removed the device from his bag and threw it from a walkway in a crowd of more than 2,000 people during the Invasion Day protest in Perth on Monday. Alerted by a member of the public, police took the man into custody. Bombs response officer inspected the device, and the Western Australian Police Force said in a statement it is confirmed it was a homemade improvised explosion device containing a mixture of volatile and potential explosive chemicals, nails, metal ball bearings asphyxiated to the exterior, says police. Now, that is just a report from ABC, but people have carried on saying that people that spoke with people that were there, and people believe he is like, you know, a white supremacy bloke, basically, which isn't going to be shocking, is it? Because you've had a few knobheads online that has allowed to be normalising racism out loud and sexism now for 2+ years. And yeah, it's shocking. It's completely shocking. I hope everyone that was there, I hope, even though it says people didn't get injured, I hope that no one really did get injured and that you have the support you need, because that's terrifying for you guys. I think it's fucking gross that, once again, we do not give a shit about First Nations at all. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're the freaks, we're the invaders, we're the colonisers, we're the ones that are knobheads. And we've taken everything from you guys, and it's so unfair that you have to protest in your own country because rich men want to fill their fucking pockets more and ruin people's lives, and us white people can't shut the fuck up and just sit there and take it. Why can't we sit there and listen to you? It's beyond what the fuck. So my condolences to Australia for, again, white people ruining shit for you. It's fucking gross. And then someone quoted, it took Hitler's SS 7 years to begin murdering people in the street. It took Trump's ICE 11 months. And unfortunately, I don't know why we see America as like the number one country in the world at all. I don't. We pretend that they're number one, but it's the rich people that think that America's number one because they make money. They high tax, and you can do any dodgy shit you want, and you make tons of money out of it, but the poor people keep being poor. Even in America, you can't be shocked what happens with other countries with their indigenous people still there. Because you treat your own First Nation like a bag of shit, and they still don't get all the rights that they need, and you've ruined them. And yet people take the piss, and then you get some white celebrity that goes, I'm 20 of Cherokee, and all this shit, and you go, oh wow, amazing. And it's like, no, you shouldn't be looking at those people, you should be looking at the ones that are a little bit more related to them. Fucking hell. We're all a bunch of fucking freaks, aren't we, as white people? So anyway, in a good way, Wales, so in the UK, we have a country attached to England, and it's called Wales. So Wales, to become the first country to make politicians lose their jobs for lying under the new law. Politicians could be suspended or even removed if they deliberately mislead the public. So in the UK, we do have different parliaments, and people always try and make out that London Parliament in England is the main one, and in a way it is. But this is why we need our 3 countries and 6 counties, aka North of Ireland, because we're shit on our own. We're shit on our own. We are a typical rich country that can't do shit all without other people to wipe our bum-bums. So the kids in Congo really need to be treated with respect, have a stable life, and get back to school. We can't just ignore what they're going through. If we don't actually hold people accountable and stick to international laws, these children will keep having their rights and safety ignored. We absolutely have to do better for them. Say no to sexual abuse to children in Congo. I think it's fucking shocking that millions of women and children die, and we are still not talking about Congo. But it's a racist thing again. It's definitely a racist thing. It's definitely because us Europeans have taken over their country, and then when we take what we want and we feel like they can't provide anything else new, we leave our religion there, and we leave our polluting factories there, and our old harsh work environments there, our religions there, and usually our military bases are usually in places as well there, and then we fuck off and leave people, and all the money that those poor children make in the mines and everything, they get fuck all back, and we get everything. Now, when I say we, I don't obviously mean the public, because the public then pay out the nose to get these items, but it's the people who are the slave owners. You're not bosses, you're slave owners of these poor children that get treated very badly by their own people because of us bastards. It's horrendous videos to see. And then, not only that, then they'll come home, and then they will either see their family dead or being attacked, or then be killed themselves or be attacked by groups. And we've done that. We've fucking done that. Our government has allowed us to go through all these countries and not replace it with money and help. We've replaced it with hate, and it's fucking horrendous. And then over here, when you talk about it, because we're told, we're brought up in a racist way, so when you're sort of told that this is happening, men in this country and some women in this country go, of course they would do that. It's Africa. And it's fucking gross. It's fucking gross. What comments I've had back when I've tried to show people the world and no one cares, and it's fucking horrendous. It's so embarrassing. You feel so lost because you're talking to deaf ears all the time and people with all over their eyes all the time. And it's like, the amount of men I've seen have as their New Year's resolution is to just stay in my bubble. Don't look at the rest of the world. Don't get into all those horrible stories. Don't get into politics. You won't anyway, not properly. And these are the people I discussed with, which turned into massive arguments on their side because they got their bum-bums hurt. And I said, it's not personally our fault that this is happening, but we are our country. You keep going on about be proud of your country, be proud to be British and all this shit. But unfortunately, you have to admit that we're allowing our governments to do fucking horrendous shit. And if you don't allow that, I don't want to know you. I honestly don't. I don't want to know these people anymore. So yeah, so I've snoozed a lot of people's accounts again because I just think I just can't bear it. Like, fine, get on with your life, that's great. But the second someone brings something up, you can't just bark at them because you are being political then, because you're retaliating the truth. And it just, once again, it boggles my mind. So, obviously, there is a video going around, and it's about some of the biggest far-right misogynist influencers: Andrew Twat, Marong, Tristan Twat, and Nick Fuckus, and Justin W, etc. Together, they reach 8.5 million, okay, and millions of people on top of that, mostly young boys and men. The misogyny and victim blaming as Twat, and Marong joke about Renee Good's death, and they all danced and sang Kanye West's Heil Hitler in a club in Miami. When is this going to stop? Do people really get enjoyment out of this? If yes, please tell me why you follow them, why you find it entertaining, or what do you personally fucking get out of this shit? Like, I know that Nick Fruenze, I don't know what his name is, Fenazi, I don't know what his name is. I know what his name is, I just don't want to fucking say their name. He became very popular, obviously. Once again, people don't go on the fact that it was one of his fans that killed Charlie Kirk. Never heard of him, have you? We've never seen if he got sentenced, he got found properly, was it actually him, whatever. Never heard anything else. Because it's all a fucking stunt, you know? Someone now and again has to take the fall, okay? They have to sometimes take the fall, even in the Nazi parties. And so he got famous, and then he obviously isn't that popular in a way, like money-wise. So now he's hanging out with the money bag Nazis, misogynistic, the abusers, the rapists. Because remember, the Twat brothers have been charged for sexually abusing women and girls. Remember that? And turning them into like sex slaves and shit. Remember that? And abusing women and crap like that. That's where all the Andrew Tate shit happened. I mean, and then hilariously, Andrew Tate got his ass beat, didn't he? Which is fucking hilarious. But yeah, I'm still laughing at them, to be fair, because they're pathetic, because you just always have this. You always have this where rich people want to be richer. So they do a trend thing where they go on about where the trend is. And at the moment, the trend is, because the president's a paedophile and hates women and shit, that's the trend, isn't it? Because you've got morons that still support it. So weird. So this is why I don't follow men online, for the sheer fact that there was a left-wing man who sexually assaulted a friend. So this woman, she goes on social media, she's a content creator, and she goes on about feminist stuff. And she told her story, and then other women came forward to say the same. The second I think you're all right, I will scroll. So this is for men. If I think there's a man that seems all right, I will look at his page, because most likely the algorithm is going to try and show you videos that you will be interested in, and not necessarily the whole page. So I always scroll through the pages, and then I scroll months. Then I type in on the search bar controversies and then Google their names and everything with that. And then if I follow, I don't hear one thing from you. I mean, so then, yeah, I'll scroll up. So the second so this is for back to the men, because the second I think you're all right, the algorithm obviously shows that I might be into this page. So they only show you certain videos to your page. So that's why you kind of have to go on their page to have a look at them. Never just follow someone. There's always an alter ego slip. So I will scroll on your page and then I will type in controversy and your name, and I will Google your name, because a lot of people don't show on social media they have a record of any kind. So you have to Google it. And then it'll come up, especially if someone is using a name and it's not their real name. Most likely people are that obsessed with people that someone will reveal their real name. So you Google it. Then if I find anything, I will block you straight away. Just because you're nice online, you are there to make money in my eyes. And because you're a man, your pages seem more than women's pages. But unfortunately, you have MANnabees standing up for those men with their lives, even if they have seen and heard all the dangerous offline. You women are dangerous in the world. You're putting children and women in danger. Like people say, it's the men wearing the hoods, but it's women sewing them. So yeah, if I think you're alright, I will research you before even thinking about following you. I might save a video, so then in a few weeks' time, I might catch up to see what else you've been going on about. But there's a lot of times when you look up someone and their alter ego slips when they go on a podcast, or when they're chatting with a mate, or they're on a live, and then people slip because they're not used to now talking to other people. They're just used to talking in their phones, looking at themselves, talking to imaginary people. And usually the ones that shout the loudest, men especially, that shout the loudest about certain things, are usually doing the opposite that they're standing up for. Many times that's been caught out. So obviously, Queen Twat, Erica Kurt, calls the protest against ICE and Trump demonic. Fucking hell, look your eyes up with your demonic face. During a speech on her Make Heaven crowded tour. So protests are demonic, but going on tour with a pastor who is sued for covering up child trafficking in Romanian orphanages is totally fine. Erica is part of the new Make Heaven crowded tour. Speakers line up and is scheduled to appear at events with Pastor Greg Laurie, who is also speaking. Multiple federal lawsuits in California, says the former Harvest pastor and missionary Paul Havsgard sexually abused and trafficked boys at the Harvest-sponsored children's homes in Bucharest, Romania. Over a period of years, the lawsuits name Harvest Christian Fellowship and Greg Laurie as defendants based on the alleged systematic negligence, sex trafficking violations, and long-running covering-up, claiming Laurie and other leaders failed to supervise, ignore warnings, and continue funding Havsgard despite red flags. Oh dear. Oh fucking dear. It's funny she thinks she's one of the lads in it. Like, the second it will go wrong, she'll be thrown under the fucking bus, and then all of a sudden the red flaggers and the red hatters and all that will start pretending they've never liked her. She's a witch and she controlled us and coerced us to do this shit. Same as like when Donald Trump dies. All the ICE people that were promised all this money, they won't get it. And I don't think Donald Trump will ever get justice, because people won't get justice at all for what Donald Trump's done at all in his life. I think he'll just die, and they will either see him as a hero, or they'll throw him right under the bus and go, well, he's the one that did this. He's not the puppeteer, he's the puppet. I think that's why they allow him to just rant and rave all the time, because we're distracted by all the stupid shit he says. So all the actual puppeteers can get on with shit behind closed doors. I believe in that. So first thing, the White House posts digitally alterated image of a woman arrested after ICE protest. Guardian analysis shows images are the same, with Nekima Levy Armstrong looking composed in original but crying in the alteration. Arrested far-left agitator Nekima Levy Armstrong for orchestrating church riots in Minnesota. President Trump has granted clemency to the son of a congressman, Steve Womack, who was sentenced to 8 years in prison for distributing meth. Wait, I thought drugs were bad. Don't we blow up people who distributed drugs? It's the same as the Sackler family. You look at the Sackler family, they are the main resource why there's so much drugs in America, by the way. They're like a white billionaire family. If you look up Sacklers, you'll know. And they are the biggest drug gang. They all look like posh little white old men and women in their little ties and their little suits and shit. But yeah, they're the reason why there's most drugs in America. So I found out this new word, which is zoochosis, is what happens when an animal is trapped in a cage for a long time, that its mind begins to break before its body ever does. The pacing, the rocking, the self-destruction are not madness. They are the language of captivity. We like to believe we are free because our cages are invisible. We wake up and repeat the same movements, scroll the same feeds, chase the same validations, and call it life. But repetition is not freedom, it's conditioning. The cage is no longer made of steel. It is made out of debt, algorithms, overstimulations, fear falling behind, and the quiet of terror being replaced. We are not locked in physically. We locked in psychology. Psychology. We do not pace in circles. We do not destroy ourselves in slower ways. We numb. We consume. We distract. We burn out. We call it mental illness. But what if it is in the same response to an insane environment? If captivity can fracture the mind of an animal, what do you think it does to a human who has been trained to forget their own nature? Maybe this disorder is not inside us. Maybe it is the word that is taught how to break us. So also, fucked up man shit again. A mother who lost her 6-year-old son when a stranger shot him dead from a car after she gave him the middle finger is now being sued by her ex, so her ex-husband, who is the boy's father. In May 2021, Joanna Clunan was taking her son Aidan to kindergarten when a car cut her off in the carpool lane. She responded by holding up her middle finger, and Marcus Erisi, who was in the passenger seat of the car, pulled out a Glock 17 and fired a single shot. The bullet struck her son Aidan through the heart, lung, liver, and she helplessly held him as he died in her arms at the side of the California freeway. So this man is sentenced to 4 years to life in prison in 2024 after being convicted of second-degree murder and shooting an occupied vehicle. So unfortunately, the ex completely blames the ex-wife for it to happen, saying she provoked the killing with the gesture she made. And it's fucking weird, isn't it? Like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And then he got pissy because people set up a GoFundMe to raise money for Aidan for his funeral, and so she spent on the funeral and helped support parents and stuff like that and pay the bills and shit, because obviously they were grieving, and he's claiming he didn't get any of that money, and it's like, so he wants compensation, and he's literally just done a GoFundMe page to get compensation off the public because he's like, I didn't get any of that money. It was for your son, love. What the fuck? So it's not a shocker. Before all this went down, the estranged couple had been in court before, as records show she had filed a restraining order against him as an alleged victim of domestic abuse, and the judge granting her temporary order prohibiting Aidan Leos from contacting the son. She later withdrew the request for a permanent restraining order and insisted soul meditation, court records sealed, so further details were not available. She completely blames herself that her son died, but being sued by her ex-husband. The way he talks in these court documents is he just gives a shit about the money. I didn't get to see any of this money that people did for our GoFundMe. It was for your son, mate. It was for your son's funeral and for all the bills you needed to pay while you were off work. I don't know if these people worked or anything. It didn't state. So it's like, so that is thousands of dollars right there. Like, a funeral is thousands. When I was doing the funeral for my dad, I got the most basic stuff because he was going to get cremated anyway. So I got all the basic stuff. I didn't even have like flowers or anything. I just said to people to bring flowers with them. And we didn't have like the lavish shit at all because his wife wasn't going to pay anything towards it. She thought it was stupid that she had to pay anything towards it, even though they were married. They were together for over 10 years. And yet they were married for about 5 years, but she didn't want to pay anything towards her husband's funeral. Anyway, that's another story, which I've already ranted or raved about last year, I think, or the year before, when he actually passed. But anyway, and it was the most basic shit, and it was still $4,000, and he had just the most cheapest coffin because there was no need, because he was being cremated. Like, all I had was pictures put up and had the service printed out, and that was it. And that was still $4,000. We didn't have a vicar and stuff. We just had someone that was conducting it. That was it, and that was still $4,000. No one went in cars. People went in their own vehicles to get there and back. You know, that was it. And it was still $4,000. But I get it because they do an amazing job with embalming and everything. But it was just $4,000. You know, I have no clue what America is like, but it's quite a lot of money. And then for you to pay bills, like a lot of Americans I hear are like paying $1,200, which is $1,200 for me, a month for stuff. So it's like, yeah, you'll need all that, and fuck knows what their finances were. They might be massively in debt, and it helped them to get out of debt. You know, it's like he blatantly got money out of it. And plus, it was just for your son anyway, my love. So it don't really matter, does it? It don't really matter. It wasn't for you at all. And then the person that killed Aidan, his girlfriend, was sentenced to 4 years in home confinement with an ankle monitor for helping him conceal his firearm during the week after the killing. So that poor mum, I don't give a shit about her dad because he's a selfish prick. But yeah, that poor mum has to go through all of that and be reminded that her son died while she was with him and had to watch him die in her arms. And then you've got a prick of an ex suing her. What the fuck? So, Jessica Sheedy, a teenage girl who died after sustaining massive blood loss during an operation a surgeon performed without the equipment, experience, or support. The 18-year-old beauty therapist died 3 days later after suffering multiple organ failure with complications which arose during surgery to remove a tumour from her abdomen in 2018. Now a surgeon, that's right, at University Hospital Limerick has admitted to professional misconduct over the girl's death. That's right, he's a surgeon. He's still a surgeon. Dr. Lull appeared before a fitness to practice inquiry at the Medical Council in Dublin on Monday. The inquiry heard the surgeon failed to seek assistance from a vascular surgeon in a timely manner after Jessica suffered major blood loss during the procedure, as well as failing to carry out pre-planning for the surgery. So, rest in peace, Jessica. I'm sorry that it sounded like it was quite a reasonable surgery you were going to have, and men failed you. Very sad to say that Limerick failed you there. And, but it's okay, because, poor baby. This baby surgeon didn't have things ready. Fucking knob. What fucking knob. But a great change of heart here. 13 Irish travellers have graduated with postgraduate degrees from the University of Limerick. The travelling community, it marked a significant milestone for the Irish traveller community, as it is the largest group of Irish travellers, the Lish travellers, to receive the postgraduate qualifications from an Irish university at one time. So well done. And guess what? They were all women. Smart ladies. Well done, ladies. That's amazing. And I hope you can use them and make lots of money and have a great life and rub it in everyone's face going, look at me, I've got my qualifications. It's quite great. It's quite fun. It's quite fun to rub it in people's face. But yeah, well done, women, for being amazing. Multiple children are missing after a massive landslide destroyed the popular Mount Mangoni Beachside Holiday Park on New Zealand's Holiday Park on New Zealand's North Island. Foreign tourists, including Australians, were amongst those caught up in the chaos. Caravans, tents, vehicles, toilet amenities were seen in dramatic footage being flattened by the slip, which was caused by record-breaking rainfall in recent days. An independent autopsy of Renee Good reveals that she had 3 gunshot wounds to the left arm, right lung and left temple that exited the right side of her head. This means the third shot was the most unlawful one from the side, likely killed her. Also, it has been said now that she was alive for at least 8 minutes and had a pulse for 8 minutes. So when all those people were shouting that they were medical, let's come and help her, and the ice people went, no, they could have done something. And unfortunately, because of ice, she died. And then they just dragged her out like a rag doll, and 20 minutes went by and then the paramedics turned up, which obviously then is far too late. ICE detained a 5-year-old Minnesota boy to use as bait. That's right, to draw his families out from their home, because he just got home from school, and then they took him. So yeah, his parents just brought him home from school. They were getting out the car and they took him out the car. A Tennessee Christian scumbag pastor, Douglas Loney Jones, has been arrested on child abuse charges after tasing his own son in church parking lot. A Zionist MAGA pastor, Steve Gartin, has been arrested for possession of child sexual abuse materials. Breaking in Minneapolis, ICE agents are now illegally detaining children at gunpoint who are US citizens and taking them as they raid houses without warrants. Not all Republicans are pedos, just a lot of them. J.R. May, a Republican member of the South Carolina House, has been arrested and charged with 10 counts of distributing sexual abuse material involving 220 different files of toddlers and young children involved in sex acts. He used the screen name Joe Biden 69. Turns out most people didn't know that health services like 111 Samaritans are flooded with calls from men wanking off to the voices of women workers, which is why there is such a waiting time to get on the phone line. To any fellow women out there needing support who have currently lodged a claim against their employer or going through a tribunal process, I have been told about an employment law advice charity called Yes, YESS Law, LAW. Please have a look. It provides free advice for women going through this process, which can be extremely stressful and lonely. I hope this helps someone. President Trump has signed an executive order to bring back mental institution and insane asylums. Only in the UK can be convicted and jailed for child sexual offences and still be called a lord. Rotherham's Lord Nazir Ahmed was sentenced in 2022 for attempt rape of a girl under 13 and sexual assault of a boy under 11, yet his peerage titles remain. Cash and Stromera were high school best friends who went gambling in the mid-1997. Stromera, who had a troubled past, lured Charisse into a casino restroom where he raped and murdered her. Cash watched from an adjoining stall as Stromera threatened the child and then walked out. Afterwards, Stromera confessed his actions, but Cash said nothing. Explained Cash on a radio talk show. I do not know this girl. I am sad. I lost my best friend. He was criticised but enjoyed the attention. Claimed media coverage got him dates. He covered his college dorm room with articles on the case and went to Los Angeles a radio talk show. Until then, Cash has been largely anonymous on campus. There have been demands that he will be expelled, but school administrators said they had no cause to do so. Cash exulted that the university officials are behind me, baby. The Los Angeles Times reported that Cash has expressed an interest in possibly negotiating a movie deal once his friend's trial goes underway. "I'm no idiot," said David Cash Jr. to Long Beach Press Telegram. "I'll get my money out of this." As the week of Stromera's arrest came to close, the media blitzed Cash's home. Cash told Las Vegas Sun that a representative from the movie studio offered him $21,000 for the rights to his story. According to Los Angeles Times, Cash sold a video of him getting drunk with Stromera to the television show Extra for $1,500. Cash seems to be waiting for the media to pay attention to him. He can then sell his story for a large amount of money. And so Charisse Interson, is 7 years old, by the way. And David Thomas Cash Jr., Jeremy Stromera, May 25, 1997. Stromera killed and sexually assaulted a 7-year-old, Charisse Interson. His best friend David Thomas Cash Jr. walked in and saw what was happening. Instead of stopping, he shrugged and walked out of the bathroom. "I don't know this girl. I'm sad because I lost my best friend." Yep, that's right. So 2 blokes went in the toilet, grabbed a 7-year-old. One raped while the other one watched. The one watching walked out apparently afterwards. And his friend is up for a trial, but the guy that was watching and did nothing to stop his friend being a fucking paedophile and a rapist is still going to university and making a lot of fucking cash out of it. Fucking hell. So America has enough money to pay Denmark, $750 billion to pay Greenland, but they don't have enough money for universal healthcare. It was never America first. So top White House officials disclosed that the US is finalising a staggering $700 billion cash offer to buy Greenland outright from Denmark, plus $100,000 lump sum payment to each of its 57,000 residents, totaling nearly $706 billion. Fucking hell, this man thinks, well, I shouldn't say just this man, I say the US government think they generally can keep paying off people. It's fucking weird. In Switzerland, German, mostly Swiss German dialects, is spoken by about 60 to 63% of the population, mainly in central and eastern Switzerland. French is spoken roughly for 20 to 23% of people, concentrated into the western region known as Romani. Italian is used about 8% of the population, primarily in the canton of Ticino and parts of the southern part. It's spoken around 0.5% is Romansh, mainly in the canton of the southeast. Trump in Davos, Switzerland. Without us, right now, you would all be speaking German. German is the main language spoken in Switzerland. So obviously, Nigel Farage thinks he's best friends with Trump, but Trump does have 2 fucks who the fuck he is, even though he has actually met the fucking bloke. But he's constantly slagging him off, and Nigel Farage is like that little minion that's like, please be my friend because I have no other friends, and I'll pretend you're my friend forever because I generally can't make friends. So Sanders Commissioner finds Nigel Farage committed 17 breaches of MP's code of conduct. He failed to clear around £380,000 in outside interest, approximately 4 times PM's annual salary, including payments for promoting gold, presenting on GB News, which he fucking owns, and from his friend George. Researchers played continuous loops of Led Zeppelin, A Tribe Called Quest, and Mozart to cheese wheels. That's right, cheese wheels. Determine how sound waves impacted flavour. Cheese wheels that were exposed to hip-hop music had the strongest flavour. I just thought I'd put a little funny fact in between the doom and gloom. So yeah, if you like strong cheese, play in some hip-hop. The human history of Greenland stretches far deep than the Norse arrival, beginning with a succession of the Paleo-Eskimo culture. The first known people to reach and settle Greenland was the Paleo-Eskimo cultures who lived there for thousands of years before Norseman Eric the Red explored the island around 985 AD and introduced it to the European world. Filipino women in pre-colonial history held genuine political and spiritual authority long before foreign power arrived. They served as warriors, property owners, and community leaders, and Spanish chroniclers were astonished to find women who could lead villages, inherit land, divorce husbands, and even command armies. So it's all about patriarchy and religion and control. That's why it all fucking stopped. Men are being confronted with the fact they are not the protectors they thought to be, the neighbours or community. Husbands are invalidating concerns and instead are providing a safe place safe place for their wives to express their fears and emotions right now. I think it's because most men were never taught how to actually provide and protect in a healthy, emotional way. So when their wives come to them with their fears and anxieties, they don't know what to do. So they just diminish and minimise, which ultimately does nothing except show the wife that they are not in a safe space. They are not protectors of the peace. Trafficking disproportionately impacts Native communities. Nearly 4% of individuals involved in sex trafficking at survey sites identified as Native, 30% of trafficked Native women reported foster care involvement, 79% experienced childhood sexual abuse. That's in Garden of Truths. These realities demand prevention, protection, solution centres and community. Top 15 US billionaires gained nearly $1 trillion in wealth in Trump's first year. The US has 935 billionaires, roughly a dozen whose jobs within the Trump administration. Bruce Springsteen donated $500,000 to the family of a young woman who was killed by ICE, leaving behind her 6-year-old son. Only 1% of Epstein files were released a month after law forced DOJ. Lee McGowan, podcast host, Politics Girl, was fucking amazing on CNN. If you look up Lee, Leigh, McGowan, McGowan, you look her up, and she was amazing on CNN interview when she was talking about the only 1% of Epstein files were released, and she was great. She is amazing. So America says there's no money for healthcare, housing or schools, but has given $21.7 billion in military aid to Israel. Americans bear 96% of the cost of the president's tariffs. In Italy, a 19-year-old woman reported a gang rape. The magistrate asked what she drank, how she danced. The defendant's lawyers entered her bikini photos as evidence of her consenting character. The verdict: sexual assault, not rape, because she wasn't beaten enough to prove she said no. Sentences were suspended. The men walked free, one giving a thumbs up to the camera. Her family changed their name. She no longer smiles, but please explain the discourse of consent culture. They walked away free because they blamed her for drinking and being in a bikini. That's why it annoys me when we look at Asian and African countries and go, oh my God, how backwards. But in the whole of Europe and America, all white countries, we are doing gross shit like that. We're allowing a man to walk out free. In August last year, Alicia O'Donovan, who is a councillor for Limerick Council, called for more training for Gardaí, which is police, in tackling online harassment. But the woman who bullies and harass people online with her friends is looking for Gardaí to tackle online harassment. How does that work? We guess Alicia. That was literally the title of a newspaper, having pissy, saying that these women bully and harass people online with her friends, looking for Gardaí to tackle online harassment. That's a newspaper talking like that. Where's the fucking accountability to just open your fucking eyes and go, oh shit, men are pricks online and they're harassing women and children. So Limerick Post newspaper now says councillor calls for more training for Gardaí tackling online harassment. And Elisa is quoting, the abuse I got at the time for calling for that was off the charts. You can see an example on a Facebook account using smear campaign. In my opinion, crock is what happens when we ignore and ridicule women's experiences. And that's Alicia O'Donovan, who is a councillor for Limerick. And I follow her. That's why I know that's what she said. And she shows receipts. But this woman is great because she's got a little business. No, it's not business. It's a little thing, community thing, where she feeds the feral cats, the homeless cats of Limerick. It's so fucking adorable. And she goes out on the street and she gives people high-vis jackets for cycling. And she's a very eco-friendly lady. And when people complain about things, she posts it and she head-on tackles people in the council to ask why shit hasn't been changed yet. And she's great. So, deepfake victim appeals for tougher laws after Grok scandal. There have been laws in place since 2020, Coco's law, that makes Grok and its activities illegal in Ireland. However, the police are not equipped to deal with it. And also, I also saw the comments on this woman who's a victim, who's asking for an appeal for laws to change and stuff. And the amount of men that laughed and were like, get over it, why you shouldn't be such a slut then, and all this is fucking gross. Lara Croft's pointed chest wasn't inspired by bullet bras. It's resulted from early 90s low polygon 3D modelling and an accidental size increase. Yeah, right. Bullet bras, popular in the 1940s, 50s, used structural stitching to create a colonial silhouette that largely made the visual comparison tempted, but unattended. So you just look like you have two party hats on your boobs. Like the Madonna thing, basically, with a pointed bra thing. I just thought it was a funny little fact to put in there. It's like, oh yeah, Lara Croft's boobs aren't about bullet bras. Oh, we accidentally increased the size of her boobies. No, you didn't. You're just fucking perfect. So this is just to show the elite public school and good friends with Reform UK policy chief professor James Orr, an aristocrat who invented Skinner to J.D. Vance English barbecue, is a useful idiot being used by the right to speak working class while furthering the interests of the 1%. Don't fall for this nonsense. The error is a wider reflection of his lack of diligence and serve to reveal what a shrill he is, bought by the highest bidder and told what to say. Couldn't give a fuck. Nigel Farage pays tribute to child sex offender, former Lost Prophets singer Ian Watkins, who was killed in prison. Yeah, that man will get paid to do anything. 4 white men have more wealth than half the planet, and you still think it's a brown immigrant is why you're struggling. Explain that to me. Like I'm a child. 1 year of Trump, 154 pardons for men who beat police and with flagpoles, the 14th Amendment suspended, 271,000 federal workers purged, 720,000 dead from dismantled aid programs, $800 million in crypto profits, court defied, children zip-tied, a president who says the only limit on his power is his own mortality. Men can see free porn at any time they want. Grok shows us it's only sexy to them when it's non-consensual. So I've got some numbers here for anyone that is going through domestic abuse or assault, sexual assault, harassment, and it's for a few countries. So Ireland is the DRCC 24-hour National Helpline, which is 1800778888, and that's for rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, or sexual abuse. Or for immediate effect, obviously, ring 112. In the UK, National Domestic Abuse Helpline is 0808 2000 247. For Northern Ireland, this is rape crisis, is 0800 246 991. For England and Wales, a rape crisis centre is 0808 500 2222. For the rape crisis in Scotland, it's 08088 01 0302. Police and emergency service for immediate effect is 112999, but obviously for England it is 111. That is mostly for non-urgent things, or what you think is no urgent, or you want advice. Otherwise, please ring 999. The US, the domestic violence hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE-7233. Police emergency services, immediate threat, obviously, is 911. Australia, National Family Violent Counselling Service is 1-800-737-732. Police and emergency services, 000. Please visit nasasv.our.au/support directory for localised support. Globally, find international helplines at www.befrienders.org. You can be anonymous, report sexual harassment anytime. We are reported. We're challenged the way society thinks about sexual harassment, one report at a time. So this is for Ireland. So visit reportd.ie. So it's reported, but without the E. So it's reportd.ie. Stop shaming women for choosing to have kids over a career. Stop shaming women for choosing a career over having kids. And I'm going to say some more. I said this last time, but Samaritans is 116123. This is all in the UK, by the way. Alcoholics Anonymous is 0800 9177 650. Narcotics Anonymous is 0300 999 1212. Alcoholics Anonymous is 0800 008681. Age UK is 0800 678 1602. Women's domestic abuse is 0808 2000 247. Men's domestic abuse is 0808 801 0327. The LGBTQ plus domestic abuse is 0300 999 546. Oh no, sorry. The LGBTQ plus domestic abuse is 0300 999 5428. Shelter is 0808 800 4444. National Deadline is 0808 808 4000. Bereavement is 0800 435 455. Childline is 0800 1111. National Grid is 0800 111 999. United Utilities is 0345 672 2888. NHS is 111. Police is 999 112 or 101. And that is for most things you need. And I will probably put it in. The description of this chat. Man arrested after 4 pedestrians hit by car in London. Council fined 5-year-old girl for fly tipping. Council in England tempted. Of mice and men of GCSE course over racial slurs. Rapist convicted of stealthing for the first time in Scotland. Young filly pleads guilty to reckless driving in Australia. Laughing gas driver jailed for killing friends in a 100 miles an hour crash. Behind every dead American teen girl who was just trying to get medical care for a pregnancy complication is a boy who refuses to keep it in his pants. You'll never hear from him. You'll never even know his name. Hard to swallow pills. Men and boys already know that raping and abusing women and girls is bad. The reason they do these things isn't because they aren't aware that the actions are bad or violent. Should women choose better men, or should men stop pretending to be something they're not? I mean, if it looks, sounds and acts like a duck, can you really blame anyone for believing it's a duck? So this was a funny meme that come up taking the piss out of Kennedy. You know that one, you know, the one that sounds like he's mummified and smokes like 200 cigarettes a day. He doesn't believe in autism and shit, or he thinks autism's evil now. So a funny meme alert, not a fact. There was no autism diagnosed before 1930. Pluto wasn't discovered until 1940. Pluto causes autism. Silly shit, isn't it? Did you know that in 1973, Billie Jean King, one of the greatest American female tennis players, defeated Bobby Riggs, a 55-year-old former number one who didn't respect women's tennis? He was a massive tool towards her as well. Oh, women are shit attitude. Control your anger. Don't be quick to act. Choices made in anger can't be undone. On the same day Joe Biden announced a $8 billion weapons package to Israel, Bono accepted the US Medal of Freedom. U2 frontman Bono was one of the recipients of the US Presidential Medal of Freedom on Sunday. It wasn't on Sunday, this was last year, but I like to just sort of refresh people's mind who's a fucking money bag wannabe and actually doesn't give a shit about people. It came on the same day that the outgoing of the US president, because as we know Trump is president now, announced an $8 billion package to send weapons to Israel. The Medal of Freedom is given for exemplary contributions to prophecy, values or security of the US, world peace or significant social, public or private endeavours. Ironic, isn't it? Other people included Denzel Washington and Michael J. Fox. His acceptance of the award has not come without backlash. Bono has been criticised in the part of his strong stance on Ukraine's struggles against Russia, but silence in Gaza. In 2022, while Ukraine suffered from attacks on the hands of Russia, the frontman called Vladimir Putin a tyrant and a bad Bond villain, and said the freedom was on the line. In Ukraine's fight against the invasion, he even played a solidarity concert in Kyiv Metro in the support of Ukraine forces, but he has been silent on the war on Gaza, the ongoing genocide by Israel. That was until Sunday, when he published a short essay on freedom, in the Atlantic, where he briefly spoke out the latest collateralism. Men shame women for having a lot of consensual sex more than they shame others for. Men shame women for having a lot of consensual sex more than they shame other men for rape. Medical misogyny condemns women years of gynecology pain. PM's told that damning parliamentary report blames the lack of education of healthcare workers and a stigma for poor care. Fun fact, in addition to being wives and daughters and mothers and sisters and grandmas and aunties, women are also, not quite apparently, but we are people. Shock horror. Women are humans, not an extension to those in their lives. In a ski jumping competition in Germany, Selina Freitag, one of the female winners, received lotion, shampoo, towels as her prize, while her male counterpart in the same category walked away with €3,200. Female ski jumper received shampoo, lotion, towels as prize, while he received €3,200. Unlike criticism of the German Ski Association, Selina Freitag opened up about the unfair treatment. A South African man murdered his girlfriend because her bikini was too revealing. The couple was only dating for 8 months. She was continually abused by him, according to witnesses. South Africa's femicide rate is 5 times higher than the global average. Over 13% of South African women report being subjugated to physical or emotional violence by an intimate partner in the last 12 months. In Equity, women who have anxiety, mood swings, depression were sent by their husbands to the doctor, who diagnosed them with a disease called hysteria. Their treatment was based on a pelvic massage with the purpose of achieving hysterical paroxysm, also known as orgasm. There were so many women who began to attend consultations to have their treatment, that doctors at the end of the workday were exhausted and had their hands were shaky. Margaret Ann Bulkey, eventually known as James Barry, was a woman who wanted to study medicine in the 19th century, but this wasn't allowed, so she went undercover as a man to do so. She enrolled in a medical school in 1809, received her degree at 22, and became assistant surgeon for the British Army shortly after. And her skills were simply unprecedented, taking her to Cape Town, Mauritius, wherever her exceptional service was needed most for both the wealthy and the poor. It wasn't until her death in 1865 that a nurse attending to her burial discovered that Barry was actually a woman, the massive secret concealed from the entirety of her career and life, all in the name of following her dream and passion. Before women were allowed to enroll into medical school, Margaret Ann Bulkey dressed as a man for 56 years to study medicine and become her alter ego, Dr. James Barry. It was only when she died in 1865 her secret was exposed after working for 46 years working as an army medical officer. 3 things I want you to notice. We see the faces, names, families of Israel hostages. They are fully humanized. We never see the faces, names of families of Palestinian hostages. They are faces, statuses, and stats. They still call Palestinian prisoners, not hostages, even children. Trump revoked the Equal Employment Opportunities Act of 1965. In case you don't understand what that means, someone cannot hire you because you're a woman. That used to be illegal. Gone back decades overnight. Misogynistic, racist bigot, piece of shit. Trump did so much heinous shit today that we can even fit it in a graphic. So here's a note. Left the World Health Organization, left Paris Climate Agreement, expanded the death penalty, took away birthright citizenship, signed an executive order renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, signed an executive order renaming the Delano Mount McKinley, ended all federal DEI programs, resumed oil and gas leases off Alaska coast, completely gutted foreign aid programs, revoked all offshore wind farm leases, made it infinitely hard for refugees to come harder for refugees to come to the US, imposed 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, it's probably more now, halted pretty much all immigration at the US-Mexico border, pardoned over 1,500 January 6 rioters, ended all federal work from home programs, revoked 78 of Biden's executive orders, including ones that protected immigrants, LGBT, people, women, voting rights, public health, and the environment, revoked an executive order that lowered prescription drug prices for people on Medicare, Medicaid, brought back federal private prisons, and so on. He's a lovely fella, innit, that bloody What's It? What's It is like a cheese puff or a Cheeto in the UK and Ireland. Southport killer jailed for a minimum 52 years for murdering 3 girls and attempting to kill 10. Like I said, I'm bringing back old news titles and stories because I think we just forget. We forget we're sort of goldfish when it comes to news, and we need to normalise people not forgetting horrible shit happening. A French divorcee wins appeal in case over for refusing husband sex. The end of women and children's rights outrage as Iraqi parliament passes law permitting children as young as 9 to marry. What about the US, where child marriage is legal in 37 states? I mean, in 4 of those states, legal age for marriage is 0. Literally, only UN country where it is legal. Make that make sense. Most men are scared of other men. Most men fear for life of those they love because of other men. It is important for us to remain ourselves and remind ourselves that men experience. It is important for us to remind ourselves that men experience male violence just as women do. Only through unity can we truly change the violence in society. Imagine going to sleep every night knowing you could cure world hunger, end global homelessness, and still have money than you could ever spend, and yet you choose to actively not believes women can't think freely because they cannot defend themselves physically, and disrespected, sexually assaulted, raped women. They want to silence us, says women belong in the home, can't drive, and are men's property, allows women to be called household objects or property on his platforms. Quotes from Tate, Trump, Musk, and Zuckerberg. That was generally quotes that Tate, Trump, Musk, and Zuckerberg has said that whole time. An Indian flight attendant hid the passports of American passengers on board a hijacked flight to save them from hijackers. She died while shielding 3 children from a hail of bullets. Her name was Anirja Bahant. And she died a hero. Susanna M. Salter in 1887. A group of men added the woman Susanna M. Salter, woman, to a Mah ballad, as only discovered her name was on a joke to humiliate women and deter them from politics. The ballad, after the polls opened on election day, a group of men prepared for the prank to play out. Instead, Susanna won over 60% of the votes and became the first American female mayor. That fucked you up, you fuck. That fucked you, fuck. Oh no. So, Australia has introduced a new bill that will limit the total spending on a party by billionaires like Elon to just $20,000. This will ban billionaires from single-handedly buying elections in Australia. People more disturbed by a survivor's anger than they are the perpetrator's crime. Women are 51% of population, but 70% of poor, and 83% of single parents, doing 66% of the work, producing 50% of the food, but earn just 11% of pay and own only 1% of land, in case you ever wondered why we still need feminism. These stats are lower estimate, and it's highly likely the stats of single mothers closer to 94. At current pace, it will take an estimate 300 years to end child marriage, 286 years to close age gaps, 286 years to close gaps in legal protection and eliminate discriminatory laws, 140 years for women to achieve equal reputations in positions of power and leaderships in workplace, 47 to reach equal representatives in parliament. Women birth 100% of all the children. Ultimately, women need to focus to ensure one acts and conduct their lives independent of everything. Women have been programmed to believe. Ensure decisions and life choices are made in line with your own internal values instead of the patriarchal, elitist expectations that women and girls are programmed to believe. If it doesn't feel right, consider. If it doesn't feel safe, seek help where you can. You must stick together and support one another like never before. Drug dealers get longer jail sentences than rapists. People ask for drugs. No one asks for rape. It makes me more mad than depressed. It depresses the hell out of me that people I grew up with or am related to have turned into people I wouldn't tell Anne Frank was hiding. In the last 48 hours, 100,000 have been displaced, women and girls raped, and people decapitated in Congo. Children's well-being and school bill wants to force home-educated parents to provide huge amounts of data to local authorities. The government committee responsible today published the names of a parent who specifically asked them not to for her children's safety. Your data is not safe. Tell your PM just that. And this is in the UK, by the way. Did you know that there's fungus-infected zombie spiders found in Irish caves? That is one thing I don't want to know when I want to go exploring, but unfortunately the fucking thing popped up talking about it, and I was like, ooh. One parent could get my poetry banned from classrooms, and yet one country can't be banned assault rifles from massacring them. And that's from Amanda Gorman, a poet. Very true. Men have 1 in 467,000 chance of being falsely accused of rape. A chance, by the way, not truth, chance. Whereas 1 in 5 college women, 1 in 4 college trans and gender non-conforming people, and 1 in 16 male colleagues are sexually assaulted whilst attending university. From 1264 to 1827, anyone who received a Master of Art degree from Oxford had to swear they would never forgive Henry Simonus. By 1608, no one remembered who he was or what he had done. So I completely forgot who the fuck he was. So I'll have to look that up and get back to you on that one. Rugta Berman, a historian, you need to read or follow his stuff. A lot of us will know what he is saying, but a lot of you also don't, meaning those who are stuck in the system where you're still listening to certain authorities, family members, friends, rumours, on the internet, memes, certainly groups. Go watch and listen. He will open your eyes, and the fact it's very shocking, but not many people don't see the world like him. Me included, but as I'm not important to a lot of people, meaning famous or got the followers, you won't listen to some random woman and post this sort of thing. So unfortunately, more listen to a man, so go check him out. And this is Rugta Bergman, and yeah, he speaks a lot, and yeah. Men are violating spaces built for protecting the most vulnerable. So once again, I will repeat, men are calling up 111, Samaritans, health crisis, domestic abuse lines for women, housing crisis lines, rape crisis centres, and the reason why you are taking so long to be answered is because women work there. This is the case from Samaritans have said that men are using up the lines to wank, masturbate over women who work there because of their women's voices. Fucking weird, eh? And they make up a situation just so they can get the woman on the phone to talk. Now to look out for who to watch is Stream Now, Controlled, Can I Trust My Partner on Channel 4. The number of people under the age of 25 years old experiencing domestic abuse in the UK is at a record high. Daisy Maskell goes to meet a group of survivors in Parliament who are campaigning to raise awareness and improve education on the issue. To protect identities, some contributory words spoken by other men. So it's called Untold Controlled, Can I Trust My Partner? And it's on Channel 4 in the UK. You can catch up now on it. Epstein files released by Justice Department documents less than 1%. And the GOP's Boba, I don't give a rip about Epstein. The order stops federal agents involved in Operation support Lee McGowan, who took on CNN in an interview, make mocking men normal. 6 right-winged made news. F36 crimes against children in just the month of October. 45 right-wingers crimes against children in September. Republic intern at far-right Christian megachurch Austin Sewell, Sewell, sentenced to 14.5 years in prison for sharing child sexual abuse material. Russell Brand granted bail after 2 sexual offences during charges. Russell Brand's wealth balloons by £4 million in a year. Russell Brand's wealth balloons by £4 million pounds in a year, despite the comedian facing rape and sexual charges. Tell us again how charges, allegations ruins a man's career. 45 Men Here is a collage of right-wingers who made news on the month of November 2025 for crimes against children. Note, these are just the cases I had the time and resources to find, and strictly cases in the US. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Imagine if it was migrants, immigrants, or LGBTQ people. There would be wall-to-wall national media cover. Their mugshots would be displayed on the White House lawn. Legislation would be written and bigotry would be rampant. Conservative privilege is a real phenomenon. Dominic Skinner is the Irish man who, at the head of an operation to record and publish identities of every active ICE agent in the US alongside over 500 volunteers. Skinner and many others have leaked thousands of names who are employees of the US Immigration Enforcement Organization. He published his findings to keep his website, which saw a heavy spike after highly publicised murder of the mother, Renee Good. The website is currently down due to multiple cyber attacks. Grok generated 23,000 sexualised photos of children. Trump's so-called peace board met yesterday in Davos to plan the robbery of Palestine. What are they really unveiling is a project to ethnic cleanse and profit, a collection of effort to steal as much Gaza as possible. The board is stacked with war criminals and racketeers. Tony Blair and Benjamin Nazi Farka sit at the top. The president of the World Bank is there to bring his experience in looting the global south to the economic exploitation of Gaza. Alongside them are Israeli real estate tycoons and other billionaire vultures circling over the ruins. This isn't a peace initiative. It's a colonial gang organised to wipe out the Palestinian people and ensure maximum profit from their destruction. Yet our government spent the past week congratulating the board and celebrating its progress. The cowardice and subtlety of the political establishment must be brought to an end. We won't cheerlead for criminals or quietly accept Ireland being a puppeteer in imperialism like Trump or any other. We need to reassert our anti-imperialist tradition and say loud and clear, this board are framing robbery and ethnic cleansing as peace. Women are 33% more likely to die if their surgeon is a man. Women make 51% of the population but receive only 4% of healthcare in R&D funding. Women experience 75% more side effects because 4 out of 5 medicines are only tested on men. 5 times more research goes into erectile dysfunction, which affects 90% of men, than PMS, which affects 90% of women. Women are half as likely to receive painkillers after surgery. An average woman pays 30% more for healthcare. Israel is moving to legalise the execution of Palestinian hostages, where denying them legal access, holding them into isolation, and granting total immunity to those who carry out the killings. This is logical outcome of decades of impurity, racism, dehumanisation, and the use of law to legalise extreme violence against radicalised people. History shows us where this leads. The world must act before it's too late. Mobilise now. Boycott companies enabling Israel's prison and surveillance of parents. Expose and resist corporate complicity. Organise protests, pressure campaigns, demand sanctions, arm embargoes, and international accountability. Silence is complicity. Delay is deadly. So yeah, there's a lot of things, but I will be calling this chat a MANnabe or a Mah-na-beel, which is a woman who sells out other women and children to the patriarchy, aka a bitch, a scumbag, a boys club, wanker, pick me. So listen and learn with empathy. And if you are happy and healthy, you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting others, crack on. Free all the oppressed countries in the world. Free all the oppressed people in the world, and animals and nature. Free the Filton 24. I know a lot of them have stopped their hunger strikes now, and I hope for the best for you. And just please, just listen to each other, stop hurting each other, be safe out there. And literally, unfortunately, record everything, because a lot of people, even with evidence, doesn't believe you. So record as much as you can. Bye. Also, I would like to say that so 3 million new pages of Epstein files has been dropped. Trump accused of raping teen in new Epstein file. Here are 10 of the most shocking allegations so far. So this is not including what is already released of millions and millions of shit with all these cunts' names, and especially Trump. Trump is accused second-hand of forcing a 13 or 14-year-old to perform oral sex on him and then slapping her. Trump allegedly measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness while auctioning them off. Trump is accused of paying teenagers for sex and witnessing murder of a newborn baby. A survivor states she was part of a sex trafficking ring at Trump's California golf course. She also recounts a death threat she received from Trump's head of security. Robin Leach, the host of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, who died in 2018, is accused of strangling a young girl to death at a sex party. Elon Musk emailed Epstein about visiting his island multiple times in 2012, 2013. He even asked which night will be the wildest to plan his visit accordingly. Reminder that Elon tweeted, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island and I refused. When he was questioned about his involvement with Epstein, these emails refute that claim. Current Commission Secretary Howard Lutnick seemingly visited Epstein Island in 2012 discussing the plans. A follow-up email that seems to confirm meeting happened. Lutnick previously said he cut ties with Epstein in 2005. An email from Epstein to Bill Gates. Epstein tells a story where Gates asked him for antibiotics to secretly give Gates' wife Melania after Gates got an STD. Epstein emailed Obama's former White House counsel, Catherine Room-Miller, who he gifted a $9,400 Hermes bag to ask for advice on Trump should say when asked about their relationship. In an email, Epstein writes, supposedly a girl asked that Donald had sex with her at my house when she was underage. Epstein wrote about calling Trump to talk about Virginia Roberts in 2011, 8 years after Trump claimed to have severe ties with Epstein. Virginia, one of Epstein's many sexual assault victims, died by suicide in April 2025. I still don't believe that she died by suicide at all. I honestly do not believe in it. So this is... The Justice Department released more than 3 million documents that are related to Jeffrey Epstein on Friday, including some of the most violent accusations of rape and sexual assault levied against President Trump. Yet, the files also include newly revealed emails from celebrities who were friends with Epstein. The file contains more tips to law enforcement per Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was formerly an attorney for Trump. Blanche said that this is expected to be the last major release of Epstein materials. The drop came more than a month after DOJ was obliged to do so after a bill that Congress passed and Trump signed into law. Despite the Justice Department having months to prepare, the Friday release was not without its complications. Shortly after it published the files online, the DOJ pulled some of them down before re-uploading them hours later. The DOJ hasn't explained its reason for taking certain documents down, but people on social media are quick to point out that the re-uploaded documents contain redactions of women's names and faces in the original did not. While it takes days, if not weeks, for journalists to comb through the entire tranche of files, you can hear what I've just said about the allegations so far that we've come up with. There has also been 4 black journalists that have been kidnapped by federal government, and it's in connection of covering the protest that took place in a church in Minnesota. They're having their rights violated. A woman from a village in Congo recalls the night that Hutu armed militia invaded her home in the middle of the night. Her daughter, grandchild, son, and her son's wife were dragged into the street and shot dead one by one. She was then slashed twice across the face with a machete, followed by a machete blow to her arm, so severe her hand was left hanging by a thin thread of skin. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm just like reading through all these Epstein files that I've seen, and it's crazy. But also the amount of ex-IDF troops that are admitting that who served in Gaza went on record and said the IDF troops killed Palestinian civilians at random with orders to shoot, sometimes dependent on the mood of the commander. That's right. That's fucking you and me, love. You fucking heard me. But also, what is it? I'll just quickly have a little quick nosy. Obviously, we've got British far-right activists are now being deported to the UK because you're getting knobheads with Union Jack flags, right? The flaggers, the shaggers that flaggers, that are going to France and harassing refugees. So they're getting the British are getting fucking deported back to the fucking UK. No. Put them in dinghies in war zones and use them as target practice, because I'm going to fucking sick and tired of these twats. And a bill was introduced to abolish the 3-day abortion wait period in Ireland. So that's good. Women are finally getting proper healthcare. An ICE officer admitted to raping a woman in custody for months. He did this in exchange for letting her see her daughter. And that is back to David Corvelli, the 56 22-year-old bloke pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a woman over the course of several months in a Louisiana ICE detention facility. And yeah, of course, he was released on a $10,000 bond and will be sentenced in April, where his charge carries a maximum of 15 years and a fine up to $250,000. And this is fucking gross. Guinness World Records lifts Israel ban following largest kidney donations. So it's like Guinness World Records said they lift the ban on Israeli submissions as Jerusalem celebrates largest kidney donation. Let's just think about that, yeah? While Israel gathers 2,000 living kidney donors in Jerusalem to claim a Guinness World Record for saving lives, Gaza doctors are forced to document Palestinian bodies returning from Israeli customs with hearts, lungs, kidneys, cornea, skin surgically removed with expert precision, cavities stuffed with cotton. The major news outlets only cover the former. And it's a grotesque Guinness World Record. 2,000 kidneys donated by Israel. It's Palestinians. It's Palestinians. Fucking organs are being taken, and you're all believing that Israel just randomly came up with 20,000 organs? What the fuck are you talking about? And obviously it's 54 years since Bloody Sunday in Ireland, north of Ireland, and yeah, British are still trying to cover it up and trying to make out that Irish people are still savages. I have this conversation quite a lot with a lot of people, obviously because I do Irish history studying, and I ask for opinions of British people who obviously their obsession is not Irish history, and people that only really go on for a jolly in Ireland. And obviously you get stupid backing ups of, well, of course, because when I go to Ireland, they're violent, angry people, and I'm like, are you talking about when you used to do a rugby tour with rugby people, and you'd go only to the Temple Bar in Dublin on the weekend and have a pub crawl and shit like that? That is the shittest backing up story I've ever fucking heard. I said, we just can't help ourselves. This is how brainwashed we are with such a colonised country, that we generally just can't take the wool off our eyes, that we have to pretend that shit is much better in our own country. And it's like, oh my god. So obviously Hin Rajab, the 5-year-old that was murdered by the IOF with 355 bullets, if you fucking ever heard this horrendous voice recording of her, it is so upsetting. But yeah, it's just reminded everyone that she was murdered 2 years ago. And unfortunately a lot of Israel settlers are more and more beating the shit, shooting the shit out of Palestinian people, robbing everything from Palestine, and no one is giving a shit anymore. They rather talk about the fucking Beckhams or Trump's dementia tantrums and shit. Yeah. And a MAGA councilman who wore Make Paedophiles Afraid Again hat has been sentenced to 46 years on child rape and incest charges. It's a bit fucking weird, isn't it? It's a bit fucking weird. It's fucking weird, isn't it? And Miss Rachel, the YouTuber for children, she has just donated $50,000 to Congo. Beautiful. Absolutely fucking beautiful. She is an amazing person. And wow. She is, yeah, wow. So yeah, new Epstein files dropped today. Trump raped and murdered children in 1995 and 1996. Their bodies are buried in the back 9 holes of Trump golf course in Rancho Palos, California. The president is a pedophile and he's literally ruining the world as a distraction. And no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit about it. No one gives a shit about other people's children, their own children, any woman in their life. It's crazy. It's horrendously crazy.